Welcome everybody. This is Travis Blythe with Corner 6 Labs, and I am here on the new show. We're going to call it the Lab Report from now on. How about that? Even though we're not in the lab. The Lab Report.
Oh,
okay. Come on. Corner 6 Labs. Get it?
Go for it.
All right. So today on the show, we're going to talk about websites, and it's going to lead into a topic we're going to probably have in 2 weeks, in which the other better-looking half of Corner 6 Labs, Dwayne McLeish, will be in talking about some of the things you need to consider when designing a website, some of the differences in websites, and why when we design websites we rock it and we are the best. So today, we're just going to talk probably real quick because I know we've been running late. We're in overtime right now, but that's okay. We are going to talk about some websites. I think we're going to look at the Fireplace Girls website. She said she may need some tweaking, so we may look at it and give her some ideas on what we think. And then just kind of go from there. And I'm sure these two lovely ladies on either side of me will have a ton of questions that hopefully that I can answer. And we're going to go from there. So if you want to check us out, you can hit us up at www.corner6.com, spelled out CORNERSIX. You can reach me. My last name is Blythe, BLYTHE, at corner6.com. Our Twitter handle is at Corner6Labs. And we have a Facebook fan page, so come and like us, please. We need more fans, and you can hear all about the cool stuff going on in the lab. You can interact with us, ask us questions and whatnot, and also if you want to email me, I love to get email, and I could sign you up for our Lab Report monthly newsletter, which talks about where we're going and what we're doing and what's new in the lab other than the show. So with that, I don't have a guest today, so we're just going to kick it off.
But we love you anyway.
Well, thank you. We love you too. So I'm just going to start. You have a question to kick it off with, or do you just want me to keep talking?
Well, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people are using the social media, either WordPress or Blogspot or whatever, as opposed to the a HTML type of thing. And how are y'all finding? One of the things I talked to you is they're getting that, but that the SEO, how involved is that? I mean, it looks simple because you can do it, but one of the things y'all do is how you load it, the metadata, and the other things that's important, especially with your social media, with your blogging type.
Mm-hmm.
That's called CSS management or CSS software, the content
management system?
Yeah.
CMS.
CMS.
Well, yeah, one of the things I want to start out by saying is all the websites that we design on WordPress. So what that means to everybody listening out there is, if you don't know, WordPress actually has two different sides to themselves. There's the WordPress.com, which is the blogging site, which a lot of people know when they hear WordPress, they automatically just associate that
site
with blogging, and it's free. Yeah.
Except if you get a plugin.
And then, well, some of the plugins are free. They got the free ones, but of course, like everything, there's upgrades.
Yeah.
And then they have another side to them called WordPress.org. We prefer to build the majority of our websites on WordPress.org. It's free also. The only thing you need to do is know kind of what you're doing when you start messing around with it. They claim they have a 5-minute install in which you can take your domain name and you upload a theme and go from there. Why a lot of the developers and programmers like it is because you can pick a theme from several different websites that are out there. You pick a theme that you think is going to fit your company, and then as a developer you can go in and customize those themes. So if you do know how to do your HTML and write code and all that, you can go in and tweak it and change it and make it how you want to. But the nuts and bolts and the kind of the shell of it is already done, so you don't have to start from scratch. I
have one of those. I have the one in a box or something, art in a box. I have a subscription to it.
So what we normally do is, even though we are using some templates for some people, we kind of sit down with you and kind of figure out what your likes and dislikes are and what you're after and how you envision your site looking, and then we go out and find a couple things and then run it by you, and then we work on colors and fonts and all kinds of different things until we get it to how you want it, and then we design your website that way. You know, why is that better than, say, something out there like Joomla? I'm not saying that it is. I know there are some people prefer one or the other. I think it just depends on, you know, your programmer and what he likes. Our company, we prefer WordPress.
You know, I know Jimmy's gone to you're doing WordPress right now.
I use both.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Both of them have, you know, good things and bad things about them. So, you know,
Okay.
it just depends on what you're doing.
Can you mix them up?
Nah, not really. Unless, you know, like an extension happens to be written for both. It's just not.
See, I don't understand extensions, and maybe that's something that we don't need to go in here because maybe a lot of people aren't doing that part. But that, and when you add a page on the WordPress is if you add it on the WordPress. Add a page, you don't get a chance to be able to section it out. It needs to be one post, so you can't just put in a page and start having more different posts. It wants one post, and so maybe that's just
I guess
me.
I'm confused at what you mean by that.
Well, it puts everything together when you add a page. You know, on your
You're talking with WordPress?
Yeah, and this may be not the show to do that because I'm getting into a technical area. But what I find is my hardest thing in dealing with it is and I'm used to coming from a Dreamweaver or just a standalone pages where you do a page and you point it at each other. And when you add a page and put it in the menu on your WordPress, then it seems to want to keep it all in one post rather than separate. So if you do let's say I do the hosts, they're all in one long deal rather than individually. So anyway, that's like I said.
Instead of having individual pages, you could create individual pages for everybody.
Yeah, and then have it point to it.
Right.
I guess, and maybe that's where it starts. You can mix it so
And
sometimes
you can make you know, each page can have a subset of menus. You just kind of need to know what you're doing to figure that
then
out.
there I go. Yeah.
And like I said, the great thing about you know, one of the great thing about the themes is normally when you create a new page, if the theme was created right, and you have several options of how you want that specific page to work for you. And if you don't like what those options are, well, then you just go out and get yourself some plugins. Or if you've got the designing and you know the HTML knowledge, you can go ahead.
Seems like
and
my second page always looked like my first page.
Well, you can change that. You just got to know what section it is in. And I'm slowly but surely learning the WordPress myself. That's why I know that it's there, because I'm working on a personal site. So I know that the theme that I'm using at least has 3 options of designs on how I can format the page. Now, if I want to switch that, I can go get some plugins, and then I can add plugins that'll change the whole look and feel.
Okay, so that's how they give it that look, because I'm looking at it going, you don't see the navigation bar at the top, you don't see the other stuff, and it really looks like a website. And so, and it is easy for the people to make changes, but not necessarily, you know, I guess there's that advertisement out where they have the person with the book, yeah, we're doing our website and whatever. And so by going somewhere and having somebody like your company design it.
Yeah, if you go to our website, which is, you know, www.corner6.com, ours is built on WordPress, so it looks like a website. It doesn't look like a blog. I mean, some people know how blogs look, and most blogs have the same, you know, all your posts on one side and different things, and you know what a blog page looks like. But you know, you can design. It's meant to design it as a website, but the benefit of it is you get the content management system on the back end, which basically means that you can go in, and if you've ever used WordPress, have you ever used WordPress?
No, sir.
No? Okay, well, if you've ever used WordPress, the blogging side, then you can instantly know what you're doing. And you can change the words, you can change out your pictures, you can do different things, because if you're familiar with how the blog works, then you'll be familiar with the back end on this too. So, you know, it's pretty simple.
The key is having the content, you know, and that's one of the things. You can't do anything till someone gives you content. Poor Jimmy, you're working with my stuff, and the longest time, you know, you have to decide what you're going to write. And
yeah, and that's one of the biggest things with, you know, companies that design websites that I hear a lot, you know, and it is something that we face a lot too, is
people say it takes them so long.
They take it so long, but yes, they're waiting, you know, we're waiting on them to get, you know, pictures and logos and the content, because they want us to provide it.
And that's,
So-
yeah, they can't go in your head and become your mind. Because the next thing that happens is you come back and they go, no.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, I like in a big way to, if somebody was an artist, for instance, we have a lot of people that do art in the back, and they'll
Oh,
go
yeah.
out there and they'll paint their own paintings. It would be a lot like if that artist was to come in here, tell me what to paint, and I had to go over there and do it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not going to come out as well. It's not what you were originally thinking. Hopefully, it's going to be usable, but it is. I mean, it's somebody else's artistic idea of what they want it done, and you have to figure out what that is.
And